so I'm a note person, so I will be referring to my note cards. But how are we feeling today? Okay, guys, I'm like an energy person, so I need some energy. How are we feeling? Man, who feels like they've already, like I low-key after everybody was speaking, the music, like I feel like I can go home and work. Anybody else like, I just need to get to work. Right? So I'm really excited to get a chance to share with you guys today. I'm honored to even get to touch this floor with the gentlemen that are up here. So thank you so much to you guys. Thank you for leading the way and showing us what's possible. So for those of you that don't know me, guys, my name is Fontenot. And, you know, I got started with a company 5.5 years ago. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt like I'm supposed to be great. Like there's something inside of me and I'm supposed to be great. Anybody feel that way in here? Yes. If you're an entrepreneur and you feel like there's something more than just going to work. If you feel like there's something more than paying the bills and maybe occasionally going shopping. Is there anybody out here that feels like there's more to life? Yes. And so I found the company that I work with now on accident. I didn't know what I was doing. I never in my life thought that I would be a wellness coach or a life coach or inspiring other women. I moved here from Canada at 20 years old by myself to act. I'm a cliche. Yeah, I'm a cliche. Okay, so when that didn't happen, I came out here, I went to a theater academy, I was really doing the deal, and I found something that I was passionate in. And what I find is in entrepreneurship, guys, right now, especially in society, it's real sexy to be in entrepreneurship. Y'all know what I mean? Like everybody's an entrepreneur these days. Everybody's, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. What does that mean? Because I'll tell you, the one thing that I really took away from beginning this journey is cultivating a mindset beforehand. Because there's going to be things where you feel like, you know, I could quit. Or there's going to be those things that come up and they slap you in the face. Who has been slapped in the face by life? Yeah. Now, this is the thing. You get to decide. Are you just going to get in a corner and take the hits? Or are you going to do something about it? So what is your underlining story that you have that goes in and day out? And I'll tell you guys my story. When I first started this company and the grind was real, I mean, I was that girl. My car used to squeak on every bump. It was like, I was embarrassed. Oh my God, I'd be dressed to the nines, like parking down the street because I didn't want people to see what I was driving, right? Or just, and can I be authentic? Yeah. I can keep it all the way real. Yeah. I was that girl that had to say, I don't know whether I'm going to put food in my fridge or pay my rent. I was that girl where when I heard that eating less was a way to get results, I was happier because that was less money being spent. I was that girl literally, when I moved from Hollywood, I got sued for $3,500 worth of late fees because I paid my rent in 4 years twice on time. I'm just keeping it real, guys. The grind is real. And if you don't have an underlining story where you're cultivated to work anyway, it's not going to happen for you. Like G said, you can leave right now. But the thing about it is you don't have to. Change your story. And my story was, this is all a part of my story. This is all a part of my story. You know, when I make it, this is all a part of my, ooh, I got a good story. Anybody ever had a good story? I was fired up, right? And so I want to let you guys know, you got to be mindful. Write this down. Be mindful of your circle of influence. Now, this is the thing. Because I already had a story, no one could tell me what my story was. Does that make sense? Because I already knew I was going to struggle, like you cannot drift to the top of the mountain. You have to intentionally climb. And even when you intentionally climb, it's hard. It's hard, but it's worth it. Right? So one of my girlfriends that introduced me to this company, she was like, oh my God, oh your life, it's so hard for you. And she, you know, she was doing well. Her bills were paid. She was shopping. I was trying to be like her. Like, oh my God, can I just buy one thing from Nike? Like, just one? Right? She had every shoe. I was like, God, dang, right? So she used to tell me all the time, oh, Sarah, like, how do you get through it? Oh, Sarah, like, get around the people that pull the soldier out of you, not increase the baby inside of you. Don't get around those people that try to, no, don't say that to me. I need to hear the person that's going to say, you know what, this is hard, but it's going to be okay. This is hard, but it's going to be worth it. So what story are you cultivating? And guys, once you make the decision, that's when life is really going to come at you. And it's either God, the opponent, or both. But they want to see how bad do you really want it. Yes. So when you look at the word decide, right? D, which means two. Side-eyed means to kill off. Genocide, homicide, suicide, pesticide. So if you have two options and you kill off one, this is it. You got to figure out how to make this work. So who in here has a part-time or a full-time job? Who in here has 24 hours in a day? Who in here wants to bridge the gap? Okay, so not everybody. Great, perfect. Okay, so I'm not talking to the people that didn't raise their hand, just so we're clear. But I do really want to have a conversation with the people that are serious about bridging that gap. Is that okay? Yes. So what I found is once you make that decision, right, there's a level of conditioning that needs to happen. Like G was saying, it's consistency. It never happens on our time, and that's the beauty about it. That's why it's a blessing. If you knew it was coming, it would just be like, oh, well, that was supposed to happen. Right? It's not supposed to be easy. Nothing great is easy, right? And so there's this book, and in the book it talks about a story of Mount Everest. Has anyone heard of Mount Everest? Yes. Massive mountain, right? Massive mountain. You guys know that people die trying to climb up Mount Everest? So he talks about, he's climbed Mount Everest a couple times, and he said, if a 300-pound man came to me and said, oh my God, I'm so excited, I want to climb Mount Everest, just tell me what to get, I'll get all my supplies, I'm going to bring the energy, I'm going to pump you up. He said, I would respectfully decline. Would anyone else in here decline? Yes. The reason why is not only would that man probably die himself, but he would kill you off trying to get him to the top of the mountain. There has to be a level of conditioning beforehand. There has to be a level of consistency beforehand. And that's when you can actually make it up the mountain. Does that make sense? Yes. So it's about structure and energy. It's not just the excitement. An excited man is not going to reach his goals, but an excited man that's committed to the work that it takes can. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so structure for me. Who in here is in a people type business? Okay, great. And who wants to be in a people type business? Okay, great. So what I find is, structure for me in the business that I'm with is very people based, right? And I want to make sure, write this down. I'm the blank. Everybody knows me. Like whatever your position is. If you're a barber, if you're a barber, sorry. Hope this ain't inappropriate because I can't see. Okay, so if you're a barber, you want to be the barber in your space. Does that make sense? If you are the mom club for strollers, you want everybody to know, like, oh, when I get a stroller, I need to go to this person, right? When I need a cut, I need to go to this person. When I need that hair done, I need to go to that person. Where's she at? That person, right? So whatever that looks like, you got to be that person in your circle, but that comes by talking to people. So how consistently, write this down, are you talking to people? What is your no matter what? Are you committed to your commitment or are you just talking about it? So for me, what it looks like is no matter what, I'm going to talk to 5 people a day about what I do. I'm going to be, for me, I do Herbalife. I'm going to be the Herbalife girl no matter where I go. They're going to know, oh, when I get started, I need to go to that girl. Because I'm always. And we want to be that person that you go to. Does that make sense? Yes. Number 2, write this down. Follow up with those people. This is where the fortune is at. If you are building any kind of business, you need relationships. And it doesn't matter. You could have the most phenomenal connection with a person. And then next thing you know, you never call them. And it was like, what? I could have had a new best friend and a business partner. Y'all, anybody feel me? Yes. Follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. Number 3, write this down. No matter what calendar. Yes. People trust consistency. If you were to go to a store, right, and they got the dopest stuff for the best prices, but you never knew when they were open, would you go? Like, why are you even here? Right? People trust consistency. And you've got to be so committed to your level of commitment to yourself that, like, literally, guys, when we are self-employed, when we are entrepreneurs, people don't really take us that serious at first. So one, you've got to take yourself serious, and you've got to act like the $1 million person. That when someone's like, oh, I scheduled my wedding on an event on my no matter what calendar, girl, send me some photos. I'm sorry. Don't schedule your baby shower on my no matter what calendar. But that's the level I take it. Don't schedule and this is the thing, you've got to enroll the people that love you in what you have going on so they know. I take this serious, and if I don't show up for me, who will? Like, you've got to be your biggest raving fan. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so no matter what calendar, consistency is key. Choose those days throughout the week. Number 4, like G touched on, personal development. Whether it is a book, whether it is YouTube, whether it is a pastor, whether it is God and your prayer time, no matter what, never stop learning. There's a saying that I've heard, and it said, follow the leader, become a leader, create more leaders, but never stop following the leader. You always have to learn. If you're not growing, you're dying. And this is the thing. What I've noticed is when I talk to 5 people a day, I get a lot of rejection. Like, yes, people are like, ooh, swerve. Okay, I'm not sick. Like, I'm not trying to get you sick. Like, hold up. I'm healthy, you know, just want to talk about what I do. It's hard. Rejection does not feel good no matter where you're at, no matter what level of success. You've got to bounce back. Like Les Brown says, if you fall down, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Right? Then we have accountability. Now for us on the team, we do an accountability call where we get to go out of our 25 people. How did you do? It's not to wrong you if you don't get your number. It's to say, okay, like David was saying, do you guys think that Ray did better because he put $200 on the line? He didn't hit the 12, but he hit 7 in those first 2 or 3 weeks, and then he hit 11, and he's still going, about to be 100 pounds down. Clap it up for Ray. Right? So this is the thing. When you get checked for, when people are checking for you, you do a little bit more. So if it's not a call, make it a person. A person that's equally as hungry as you. Don't slow anybody down if they're ahead of you, but you can find somebody who's where you're at. Does that make sense? Okay, then we've got tracking. Okay. These are the things that I think that are important to track. Who did you meet that day? Who did you follow up with that day? What do you need to get done that day? Like, what is the intention for the following day? And I personally like to do mine at night, so for the next day I can just go. I don't have to think about it. Whereas in the morning, I'm like David, prayer, visions, numbers. I don't want anything to do with anything in the first portion of my morning. Don't talk to me. I'm unavailable. Right? Because I take my business serious, and my business isn't going to operate at the best level if I'm not operating at the best level. Does that make sense? Yes. So I say that with love. Like, you could talk to me, just not like in this portion of the day. Cool. So more things to track. What are you grateful for? Guys, the attitude of gratitude will change your life. And you can find little things. If you feel like, I don't know where my rent is going to be, the fact that you're in a house, be grateful for that. Yeah. The fact that you have a roof, the fact that you've got food, there is always something to be grateful for. Even if you just got to think about the breath in your lungs. You've got another shot to turn it around. The attitude of gratitude will change your life. Okay? And then, did you listen to personal development? Right? So, those are the things that I like to track. So, I find that 20% of the things that we do create 80% of our business. 20% of the things that we do create 80% of our business. Now, don't get caught up in the busy work. Make sure you're focused on what is producing. Does that make sense? I know a lot of us, we get up, we listen to personal development, we do our vision, we do our prayer, we post our numbers, we take a shower, we're all like ready to go, we get dressed for the day, and that's it. What did you do that built your business? If you have a people-based business, and there's always one thing in every business that's the most important, I'm guessing it's going to be expanding. Right? And if you need to expand, that means you need more people. If you need more people, that means you need more relationships. So who are you talking to? Like, if you're not doing a follow-up call every single day, you're probably not growing. And multiple. If you're not meeting new people every single day, you're probably not growing. And then we get upset. This is what happens in entrepreneurship. People are like, I'm doing the work, I'm doing the work, I'm doing the work, and then it doesn't grow anything, so they're like, entrepreneurship doesn't work. No, you're not working your business. You've got to do what produces. Are we clear? Yes. We feel good? Yes. We still here? Yes. All right. So,
love you, Sarah.
I love you too, girl. Oh, snap. Now we've got balance. Guys, this is the thing. Balance does not exist. I'm so sorry. I wish it did, because you know, you hear people all the time like, Sarah, you gotta balance more. I'm not, right now I'm like this so that I can get like this. Does that make sense? Like, let's say right now I work like crazy. I don't really go out very often. Like G said, you don't do a lot of stuff when you're in the grind, right? But as soon as you flop it, I want this type of balance where it's residual income growing. I can be present with my future kids and future husband, where I can travel the world with my best girlfriends and I don't have to pay for nobody's ticket. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of balance that I want. So this is the thing. We only have 100%. We only have 100%. If you're giving 90% of your business, enroll your loved ones so they understand. Let the kids know ahead of time, baby, I won't be at a basketball game or two for the next 6 months. Let your husband know, baby, maybe we get a date night a month. I'm trying to build for us so we can create something bigger. And that's a lot harder for women to say, but it's the truth of the situation. Does that make sense? Yes. So enroll the people in the unbalanced. Now this is the thing, make sure that you're producing enough so that it makes sense to them. Don't be the person that goes out and declares these big, massive things, and then you're not doing the work and you wonder why people are telling you to quit. You're not producing anything. So that goes, again, with production versus busy work. Cool? Are we here? Yes. Are you guys cool? Yes. Okay. So stay committed to your commitment. Guys, how committed are you really? And I want to share a personal story, if that's okay. Is that okay? So 2 years ago now, I called off an engagement, okay, to be married, right? Now I can say that, and it's like, oh yeah, that happened. I'm so happy my life is going in the right direction. At the time, however, it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. Now this is back 2 years. I was making about $5,000 a month at the time. My fiance at the time was making about $13,000, $15,000 a month. So together, we were earning about $20,000 a month. That's not bad. Is that any bad? I'm not the only one in here. I was excited about that. What? Okay, so this is the thing. On Instagram, it looked great. We were taking trips, going to the Maldives, traveling here, doing this, doing that. But in reality, it was a toxic situation for me, right? And that's okay. Everybody's not for you. He's a great guy, just not a good fit. Does that make sense? So not to shame him, because I put myself in that situation. We all know, like they were saying, cut off the things that don't serve you. We know sometimes we don't need to be in situations that we're in. Because not only do they not serve you, but they bring you down. And I will never forget, and one of my biggest driving factors is he said, this is what made me jump out of the plane, guys, because I'm so committed to my commitment. I am so committed to retiring my 6-figure earning mother. I can't stand for her to keep telling me how she hates work. Anybody else have big dreams? Yes. So when he said to me one day, he said, Sarah, well, let me put it in terms for everybody. He said, Sarah, you'll never make it. The only way you'd make it is if you marry someone who makes it. Wow. Yeah. And in that moment, I jumped out of the plane without a parachute. Even though back then I was making about $5,000 a month, I was spending $6,000 or $7,000 a month, which goes to budget, which goes to credit, which goes to all those things that are important. It doesn't matter if you make $100,000 a year if you spend $100,000 in one. You're You're doing worse than the person making $20,000 putting $1 away. Right? So get really clear on how committed are you to your commitment. Do you allow those things, those people, those circumstances, and those situations to look you in your face and say you're never going to make it? Or do you decide, no, this isn't for me. This is not in alignment. I'm jumping out of the plane, and I'll grow wings on the way down. And I promise you guys, I feel like some of the things that happens is we count on other people to save us. And just keeping it all the way real because I can be authentic, right? Yes. So 2 months after I called things off, I called him because I was in a financial bind. And I said, can you help me? I'm struggling to pay my rent. And he said, no. I said, no, it's not that you can't. You're telling me that you won't? He said, I won't. I said, okay. And I promise you guys, that was the biggest favor he ever could have done for me. Because in that moment, I decided to be my own hero instead of out here looking for one. Does that make sense? So at some point, you've just got to decide, how committed are you really? Because it's hard. And there's going to be nights where you cry yourself to sleep. There's going to be nights, and this is the thing, the problems never really stop. It's like they evolve with you. Every new level, there's a new devil.
That's right.
Right? Every new level will require a different and better version of you. So I'm grateful because all the things that I've been through have made me the woman I am today, and I'm proud of her. But I'm even more so proud of where she's going. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sometimes you just have to remember, this is all a part of my story. This is all a part of my story. Be your own hero. Maybe that's the underlining story. I'm my own hero. When people don't return phone calls, I'm my own hero. I'm going to go get some more. When people are like, swerve you in the street, I'm my own hero. I'm going to talk to whoever I want to. You just got to cultivate the attitude of gratitude and be grateful that somebody out here is going to listen. Yes. Does that make sense? Yes. So the final note that I'm going to say, guys, is be patient. Yes. This is the thing. You can be, do, and have whatever you want to be, do, and have if you're willing to work really hard and consistently, but will take off the timeline. A reason why most people quit is because it's not happening fast enough. The time is going to pass anyway. If it took you 10 years to go from working full-time to eventually part-time to earning 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever $1,000 a month, would it be worth it? Yes. But people think they get into their business and in 1 year, if it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, this isn't for me. Stop quitting. You gotta have staying power if you're gonna be an entrepreneur. You've got to know the things are going to come. But when life comes to slap you in your face, eventually we get better at bobbing and weaving. Right. You can slap it back. Like, ooh, snap. Right? Whatever that looks like. So whatever you're most excited about, guys, we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have 24 hours in a day. If you have an 8-hour work shift, you get 8 hours of sleep. If you got a 3-hour commute, there's still time left in your day. But you've got to know it's going to be hard, and you're going to be tired, and you're going to want to quit, and you're going to question, why is this even happening to me? Just be patient and wait for God to reveal his blessings, because they're coming. He never denies a committed heart. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So who's excited to make it? Yeah. Who's an entrepreneur that's going to make it? So that's my time. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. But I'm fired up to bring up this next gentleman, guys. And first of all, so I actively follow him, right? Who has social media? Everybody needs to follow Sleep Is the number 4 Suckers. At Sleep Is 4 Suckers. This dude never sleeps. Like literally, he goes to sleep. He's posting stories, and you know how you can put the timestamp on there? 3:55 a.m., 4:52 a.m., 2:33 a.m. Like, okay, so that's cool, right? But then he's up and posting before I wake up. Wait, did you actually sleep, or did you cat nap? How do you function? And it's crazy because I asked him, I said, how do you function with no sleep? He said, I'll sleep when I make it. right? No, I don't have that in me. Or I turn into something that is not awesome. But I'm just so grateful. He wanted to talk about consistency with me. This man is so consistent, and not just for himself, but for everybody else. Get around the people that are pillars in your community. Get around people that are going to hold you to what you say that you want. Get around people that are going to put something on it. He doesn't benefit paying other people out for hitting their goals. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like if him and Ray made a bet, he put $200 of his money on the line so Ray could reach a goal. He paid out, I was at the seminar when he paid out a guy named Bobby $500 for reaching his 50-pound goal. That's his money. What kind of friends do you have that are asking you about your goals? When was the last time your circle was like, yo, okay, I know it's hard, but what are we going to do about it? So I'm just so grateful for the relationship that we're building. I'm excited to see where God takes you. Please get on your feet for David Shea!